Let's get into the newspapers. I have ChannelOneNews.com, our website. The one is the digit one. Some of the stories you'll find. Ghana's fight against hunger yields results amid rising climatic pressures. Other stories: don't starve children over restructuring. School feeding caters to government. Prioritize personal safety and security. Police to public. ECG needs competent leadership, not privatization. That's according to Pooh. Edubuahine's case. Attorney General engaging in public theatrics. Atachia says so. In Tamale, locals in Kanvili Paumo face isolation, safety concerns amid downpours. Apparently, the portions of their roads are being eroded away as it rains. Let's celebrate Ejako Nimo while he's still alive. That's according to President John Dramani Mahama. National reconciliation begins with dialogue. Apenyo marking to Mali. Current constitutional processes for removing CJ unfair. Sophia Ekufu says so. Ireland fines TikTok 530 million euros for sending EU user data to China. China says it's evaluating possible trade talks with the US. Government rejects claims of non-compliance with asset declaration. We're upgrading power transformers at 7 substations in Greater Accra, Volta. That's according to the ECG. Cocoa Board to introduce legislation to protect cocoa trees. And some business stories you'll find. ECG needs competent leadership. Mahama appoints Charlotte Osei to Toby Kwache, others to Ghana Gas Board. Cocoa Board to introduce legislation to protect cocoa. Finance Minister inaugurates new GRA Board. New GRA Board chair vows corruption-free leadership. Targets 200 million Ghana cedis revenue. Right.
All right. NOCityNewsroom.com. ECG doesn't need privatization. It needs leadership. That's coming from the Public Utilities Workers Union pool. Also here, the GJ, Ghana Journalists Association, renew call for justice in Ahmed Swale murder case. Also here, police case not closed, investigations. Sorry, kidnapping case not closed, investigations ongoing. That's from the police. Honor your promise reinstates our contracts. Caterers to Mahama. Atachia slams detention of Edubuahin, calls it a legal lottery. Edubuahin's remand contradicts AG evidence claims. That's also coming in from lawyer for Mr. Edubuahin, Samuel Atachia, former member of parliament for Ebuakwa North. Our food is not tasteless, just limited in quantity. Food catering, school feeding caterer there, and a people teacher jailed 10 years for abusing a 17-year-old daughter. Wow. And Mahama has been speaking on a new Bank of Ghana leadership following the appointment of Madam Matilda Asante. And he says Ghana's economic recovery underway with new BOG leadership. Have you seen what the dollar is doing this week?
People are crying. Some say they had dollars that they wanted to change, and I don't know what they were waiting for.
I mean, you are not an economist, but what do you know, what are your thoughts around this sudden performance? You think it's just the markets are play, it's probably some forcenomics, you know? Force is working some magic that we don't know of. Or people feel like is the dollar that's actually weakening against other currencies?
Well, whatever it is, I'm happy that it's doing it. But I also would like to see it reflect in other areas of our lives as well.
Especially the prices, right?
Yes.
So if the dollar goes down, you expect that a lot of things, for example, fuel prices.
Yeah.
You know,
well, fuel prices have been doing well, so.
No, I can't mention the brand, but I saw their price. I couldn't believe it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it was V-Power or the other one.
You don't buy from there. So I don't want to give them free advert. You don't buy from them, so.
Is it high or is it low?
Oh, it is the other one, so. The other one that you have to check your money before you buy. You know? But I'm like,
no, but
whoa.
yeah, if The prices, if the dollar is doing well, I just want to see it reflect in prices because some things are just, when you go to the market, oh, yeah, dollar, no.
And because of the way our
dollar,
economy is structured, a lot of things revolve around the dollar, the exchange rate. So you see that once it goes up, it affects everything. So once it goes up, you know that our fuel prices are also going up. And fuel is like the only constant in all of the prices because all the traders depend on movements to move their goods from one place to the other, and it's fuel at the end of the day, right? So if it's tomatoes coming from the north, fuel will be a major part of the pricing. So once fuel goes down, food stuff will go down, and it will reflect at the Davi, the Gobe seller,
I hope so because I'm not seeing traders, bringing their prices down or even all they're doing is complaining that the dollar is coming down and it's affecting.
Oh, they say some of them are. But I'm yet to independently verify.
I'm yet to verify.
So like I hear some food stuff, the price of some foodstuffs, fruits also have come down.
Because fruits are in season.
Sentiments, maybe not necessarily because of the fuel, but I don't know. Maybe you're watching the show and you concur, or you have other thoughts around the prices, generally of foodstuffs and goods and other items. You can share with us on the show. Be glad to hear what you think around these conversations. But the good news is that CD is performing quite well against the dollar. I think at the last check from the Bank of Ghana was 14.1. Right.
Yeah.
Some other people are posting 13.97. I've not also been able to independently verify that. But as and when we get the numbers and official data, we'll put it out.
All right. So I'm on graphic.com.gh. Some of the stories you'll find there. Baumia pays tribute to late Mamponhene, signs book of condolence. Chiefs and people of Esuon, raise funds to establish senior high school. That's where my dad comes from. President Mahama swears in Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu as government statistician. Krowo, Ayawase East MCE secure unanimous endorsement from assembly members. Ghana school feeding program terminates all caterer contracts nationwide. And there's a video of Sam George urging youth to ditch sports betting for farming investment. Cyber blackmail costs Guineans over 100,000 Ghana cedis in first 4 months of 2024, CSA warns. Ghana Enterprises Agency CEO urges graduates to embrace lifelong learning and creativity. Ghana Armed Forces to release soldiers enlisted in 1995 and 1996. New Ghana Armed Forces CDS William Ejapon promoted to rank of Lieutenant General. Minority leader calls for end to political retaliation in Ghana. Ghana's gold board will end up in hands of galamseyers, politically connected individuals. Opinion marking warns. Tackling mismanagement at workplaces. Speak up, protect your institutions. Mahama urges workers at May Day parade. GJA honors individuals in press houses. Yes, so those are some of the stories that you'll find on graphic.com.gh.
GhanaWeekend.com.gh. GhanaWeekend.com, not .gh. GhanaWeekend.com. You confused me there, but that's okay.
Why am I being blamed?
I'm running away from responsibility.
Can you imagine?
All
right, go ahead.
Wizkid was a local Nigerian star before my label signed him. Global superstar Akon speaking there. The Black Star experience. I liked the setup they did at the Independence Square. No, the Independence Arc, right? That was a really, really beautiful setup to launch the Black Star experience. So President Mahama has been speaking, or he spoke at that particular event, and he says, I'll walk the runway at July's Fashion Week. President Mahama.
Okay.
FOCAP applauds Mahama's call to honor palm wine music legend Ejako Nimo. Rexoma, Black Star experience benefits all Ghanaians, will create jobs and will promote culture. Some other stories here. Kwabna withdraws from the UPSA SRC presidential race. Was with our music icons and
So, I feel like sometimes the thing gets to them that they think that when you go to school, when you go back to school, it's enough for you to stand for SRC and automatically win. But when the dynamics in
But
the school change,
they actually do win if you look at it.
sometimes,
No,
or all that you've
Samini
heard.
won Agempa. Guru won a Legon. Day crime, I'm not really sure. He didn't win.
No.
Oh, Methodist University didn't win. Oh, are you serious or yeah?
If my mind serves me right, I didn't hear of a winner for him.
You can't go and do Radaladio. It's a kind of because Charlie. Shout out to D crime. But so wait, if he didn't win, then that is that the Methodist students didn't try. On a more serious note, how can you not vote for D crime? D crime.
So why are we voting for him? Because he's the crime.
Yeah,
he won.
Yes, he
okay.
won. Yeah, I thank you for the
correction.
So,
okay.
Guru, D crime, Samini. There's some other one. Forgotten the name, but will come. So yeah, and Kwabna is the latest to withdraw.
Why is he withdrawn? You should have at least.
But he would have won straight up.
Oh yeah, of course.
His
ladies' man.
His campaign music could be adult music. Oh gosh. Who would turn up the whole campus.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway. Shout outs to him. The story is on GhanaWeekend.com. You can read it and find out the reasons why he withdrew from the UPSA SRC race.
Okay, I have gna.org.gh. Some of the stories you'll find. Impacts of illegal mining on cocoa production. Cocoa Board takes steps to protect cocoa trees. May Day, Mahama reiterates government's commitment to combating Galamsey menace. Professor Adair Mensah bows out as CEO of CATH, replacement to assume office soon. Ghana to pilot vaccine safety monitoring for pregnant women starting 2026. Ghana's president in Libreville for presidential inauguration. YEA Fire Service agreed to address youth unemployment. Mahama launches Black Star Experience to position Ghana as Africa's premier destination for tourism. Adubuahine remanded in Yoko custody for 7 days by court. Workers demand total reset of pay regime. Cardinal Turkson's papal prospects revive centuries-old prophecy. Sunyani Teaching Hospital introduces home care and 24-hour OPD services. And at the Ho Teaching Hospital, the CEO calls for development of tertiary healthcare policy. And Mahama signs, okay, this is a while ago. All right.
I know.
Let's delve into some of the stories.
Atacha slams detention of a Dubois and calls it a legal lottery. Samuel Atacha, lawyer for former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Dubois, has strongly criticized the state's decision to remand his client, calling it a lottery and a violation of due process. Dubois was remanded into custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, for 7 days by a high court in Accra on Friday, 2nd May 2025. The remand followed a request by Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine, who cited intelligence suggesting that Dubois had attempted to interfere with a key prosecution witness in an ongoing alleged stealing case. But speaking to Maurice Sando on CTFM's Eyewitness News, Atachia condemned what he described as a speculative and prejudicial approach by investigators. He accused the Attorney General of effectively declaring his client guilty even before completing investigations. And this is quote. He says, "It's a lottery to say that, oh, if I don't incarcerate a man, I don't conclude my investigations," Atachia said. Meanwhile, you've told the whole world that these people are guilty, they are a criminal enterprise, they should come for plea bargaining and all of those things. He argued that the public narrative around those cases has created an environment in which the suspects are presumed guilty, leading to an arbitrary detention in the name of gathering evidence, a situation he describes as experimenting with their liberty. And it goes on and on and on and on. But the big story from Friday was that Kwabena Dubois, who was the former National Signals Bureau boss, implicated in some corruption activities, has been remanded, for 7 days.
7 working days.
7 working days. So what it means is that he will not be allowed access. I mean, he's confined, really. And according to his lawyer, he says that is not the right approach the Attorney General Oyoko should have gone ahead with. And he describes the decision of the court and the Attorney General as experimenting with the freedom of his client. So in the coming days, we would expect a lot more, or we'll be seeing a lot more of the stories as this legal drama unfolds.
All right. I have bankers hunting us, rescind decision, school feeding caterers to Mahama. A bit of the story reads, the School Feeding Caterers Association has urged President John Dramani Mahama to immediately reverse the termination of their contracts, warning ChannelOneNews.com, warning that the sudden decision will plunge them into financial crisis and contradicts promises he made during his presidential campaign. Speaking on behalf of the association, President Nana Otu-Sechiamo expressed disappointment and distress over the abrupt cancellations. And she said that they're calling on the president because this is not the promise he gave to school feeding caterers, Sechiamo said on the Channel One newsroom on Friday. During his campaign tour, he promised to put things in place, increase the feeding grants, which he has done, and ensure caterers are well taken care of. She said the termination notice has frustrated their plans as many of her colleagues had borrowed money to purchase food supplies in anticipation of the upcoming school term. You know, the school resumes on Tuesday, I think. Yes,
for
Tuesday.
Basic school.
For basic schools. And most of these school feeding caterers have already, bought food items and everything that in anticipation of cooking on Tuesday.
There's a rumor that to be a caterer, school feeding caterer,
you have to have political affiliation.
you have to show your party card.
I remember
you have to show your women's
Sandra asked,
contribution,
Sandra
your women
asked
welfare
the school
card.
feeding caterer. That was one of the
Exactly.
first questions he asked her. And she said, no, I am not a card-bearing member. I just submitted my particulars and I was given. And then, so we had an interview. And getting to the end of the interview.
Right?
Yeah, on Eyewitness. Sandra pushed her small. It's like, it's unfair. It's unfair. That's not what we discussed. And, the things were coming out to suggest that, yeah, she has a bit of political affiliation. But regardless, within, today is Saturday, or Friday to Tuesday, I don't know what is going to happen. How are the kids going to be fed?
When you politicize issues like this,
Yeah.
this is the kind of outcomes you get, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I struggle to understand why people who are supposed to cook for school children, right, such a role should be based on political affiliations rather than...
I think it should be based on competence.
Exactly, and standards, really. Does the person have the capacity to do it? One, in that, assuming there are delays, the person can still provide hot quality, safe meals, right?
Quality. I
You know,
like that word. Have you seen some of the pictures of the food?
you see, and what they do is that they look at party affiliations, they look at party cards, and they give out this contract as a way of also saying thank you. But you don't politicize the health. Food is health, right? In a lot of ways. You don't politicize the health of children because you want to appease a family, a party fellow. So for me, it's very unfortunate. And the NDC too, their members are wild. They are saying, Charlie, we've been in opposition for 8 years. We've supported a party, so we also want to. So now bring the contract to us.
I hope that we can, is it shy away? We can do away with the politics when it comes to school feeding.
It'll be difficult.
It'll be difficult?
It'll be difficult.
So then what? Whenever a government changes, this is going to happen?
Yes, so it will take strong leadership to say that I'm breaking the cycle of politicizing. And you see, it goes beyond just the food feeding contract.
Yes,
a lot of things.
across board.
We're in this country where people seize public toilets because their party
had won.
Even this government, when they came into power in the very early days, see some of the things we were seeing. Of course, you find certain criminal elements infiltrating to perpetuate their own crime, their own interests. But on a level, you saw the kind of activities that was going on because some persons felt that their party are now coming to power. See what happened at Ghana Gas, for example, where people went there holding
machetes and
civil servants hostage. So you see, it will take strong leadership to move away from that kind of politics, right? As to whether it will happen in this 4 years of President Mahama, I don't know. But I think that his second term puts him in a very, very interesting place to be able to bring long-lasting reforms, in that he's not looking to please anyone for a second term, right? Usually, if you're a government and you're in your first term, you're keeping on one eye on December 7th, the next election. You know, so some of your decisions are based on not wanting to, but this time he doesn't have that trouble. So I would hope that he's able to take the bull by its horn and just a whole lot of far-reaching reforms, particularly around how contracts are awarded, you know, across board and for school feeding persons, you know, and just bring some change, you know, and let common sense rule and let merit be the order of the day, rather than who is my party, who I sit at a party meeting with, or who has a party card, or who is Osno, or who is Echinye, or Kube. Right now, the Kube is not part again, so it's actually.
No, but yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The politicization in the interim from Friday that you know, it's been cancelled to Tuesday. I would like to know what's going to happen between, you know, Monday, Tuesday. How are the kids going to feed on Tuesday when they go to school?
Look at this.
Or it's Tuesday, I don't know, they probably will just go and clean their class and everything, but they need to eat to clean their class. When you see some of the food that the kids are being fed, then you're wondering, why?
Standards.
Look at the space in which he's cooking the food for the children. So unkept.
No, see, don't get me wrong. Some of these caterers, see, they go beyond the means available to them. Sometimes
they were
even
cooking
on
with
their
98
own,
pesos, right?
yeah,
per
at
child,
the time
but it's been
we're
increased.
told.
Yeah.
They go beyond their means to provide some quality meals. Some of them even have to dip their hands in their own pockets to make it all work for the children, right? But, you know, on an average, I think that we can be doing a lot more better for our kids if truly the intent is to help them in their nutritional needs as they study.
And also to help them stay in school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The gender ministry, Madam Agnes Namomolate, you know, I was in Crow yesterday, and I saw her in all her glory.
You had a conversation with her?
Not quite. She came to support the MCE who had just been nominated and confirmed by the Assembly. Apparently, the MCE is a close aide to her. Okay. And she's member of parliament for Crow as well. Right. You know, and she was there in white, you know, supporting. Yeah, right. Actually, you have to pay attention.
Yeah,
people are...
and some of them say they owe them as far back as 2023, but according to that statement that we saw yesterday, they're going to be paid in due course.
Yeah.
In due course. That's what they say. You
know, they should just take them to the proper standards, right? Mm-hmm. The whichever inspectorate is responsible for ensuring where they cook are in proper hygienic conditions, to ensure that they do that. Whoever is responsible for, you know, the whole chain. To make sure they have
all the certificates, FDA,
The whole chain should
hygiene.
Be in full force. It shouldn't be on,
have their tests,
we'll give you a leeway because you are close to the system and all of that. You know, there's a story on graphiconline.com by Jemima Okan Adai. It says Ghanaians warned to stop saving nude images and videos on devices. Ghanaians warned to stop saving nude images and videos on devices. The Cybersecurity Authority has cautioned Ghanaians against capturing or storing nude images or videos of themselves on electronic devices, warning that such content could be exploited by cyber criminals for blackmail and sextortion. In a public alert issued on May 2nd, 2025, the CSA highlighted the growing prevalence and the sophistication of online blackmail tactics, with financial losses and from sextortion cases soaring from 130,663 cedis between January and April 2024 to 499,000 during the same period in 2025. Charlie, according to the authorities, cyber criminals typically create fake social media accounts using attractive profile images to lure unsuspecting individuals into romantic or flirtatious interactions. Once trust is established, the perpetrators coerce their targets into sharing intimate content or participating in explicit video calls which are secretly recorded without consent. These materials are then used to extort money from victims who are threatened with public exposure unless they pay a ransom, usually through mobile money transfers, the CSA noted. The statement warned that paying a ransom does not guarantee the deletion of the compromising content. On the contrary, in many cases, criminals persist with their demands or intensify their threats, and it goes on and on and on. Is that what people are doing in this town? Wow. But why you even meet somebody online and fall for the person so much that you are now sending nude videos and pictures to the person when you've not even met the person before? Are you okay?
I think it's the promise of what you'll receive after that
Charlie.
probably will entice you to. I don't know, but you couldn't.
Right.
These. I don't know how. What's the word?
You can't explain it.
I can't explain how the new generation think and how sex has become so easy.
It's not the new generation, please.
Is
older
everybody?
Generation,
They were worse than we were.
Thank
apparently.
you. So the new generation, like, take it out.
No, but you see, I think because of the onset of social media, we see it more now. But back then, it was, yeah, probably they did whatever they did, but it wasn't out there in the public for everybody to see.
Songs, and we know that people who listen to that. There's not.
No, I'm saying.
Of course, it's a thing with every generation.
It's a thing
with every generation.
It's easy.
But I even think that with this alert from the CSA, a lot of the people targeted are even probably the elderly, right?
Old, alone.
Yeah.
Probably depressed or sad.
For all my know, some of them are even living the happy, very, very active, happy marriages. But you know, the human body is, the human nature is some way, right? And the other point is that they are not also very sophisticated to be able to spot which is a genuine account or a genuine person running a social media account and a scam. Right, that kind of sophistication to understand how these digital tools work is not also there. So they also usually more often than not fall victim to some of these things. But NOC, one of the preachers I listen to a lot, right, in Ghana, his name is Pastor Istud Anaba. And you know, one day I was preaching on radio and he said something that every downfall of a man, it begins with an appetite, right? Appetite. Right, and the appetite can be anything. It can be even for food.
Yeah.
Right, so if you love food too much, you're what they call a glutton. Right, if you love other things too much, you know, then people also say lust and all of that. So I think we should check sometimes what triggers us. You know, it's difficult. Everybody. You
should know yourself.
Yeah, right. And if you are very deliberate and conscious, you will not fall victims to some of these things. And the people who are perpetrating this, you know, wow, you secretly record somebody, you know, pose yourself as something you are not, number one, and they go and download people's images and things. So I'm sure you can. Somebody is
using my image somewhere. I rebuke
somewhere
it.
right now.
I refuse it.
And luring unsuspecting, you know. So I think we should do better. And the Cybersecurity Authority, you know, this falls directly under them. They need to up their surveillance. I did a report around, that was on mobile money scams. It wasn't even like scams. These were like people who had gone to borrow money from online lenders and now were being harassed. And if you listen to some of the stories, you would shed tears. I'm not even joking. So when they go and take the money from these online guys and they have to pay back, and maybe sometimes the interest rate is so absurd. But Charlie, the person had to borrow the money at all costs because he needed it for an emergency. And now when they have to pay and they are struggling to pay, the kind of ordeal they go through, the kind of harassment they go through, you have no idea, right? So I think that we should the CSA as an institution authority. They are doing a great job, but hopefully they are able to up their surveillance more. And let's stop this. 100,000 Ghana cedis to 400, almost 500,000 Ghana cedis.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. The monies that people have taken from people because of these scams. That's quite serious.
Yeah. It's worthy to note that today is May 3, World Press Freedom Day. Are we free?
Me. I think I was watching.
And it was commemorated yesterday.
I was watching
at the Lisa Hotel.
I was watching the launch by the GGA.
Yeah.
It was interesting to know that a minority leader was invited, to a day like World Press Freedom, and somebody sent me the video with an interesting.
Your new name up on your market.
My name is Judankan. I don't know about that. So yeah.
Wait, how did you feel that day? Like when you sit down and think about that day, how did you feel? No, honestly, the question. Are we really free? You were doing your job when you were. Was it harassed, for want of a better word?
He was at Press Freedom Day.
Yes, he was at Press Freedom Day.
Barely
a year. It's not even 6 months.
Not even a year, But
so how were you feeling, Jude? I'd like to know.
I was feeling.
Did you feel threatened at that point?
There were people around him, of course. Not necessarily him as a threat, because I knew he understood his responsibilities as a member of parliament. So I wouldn't say I felt threatened by his person, right? Harassed, maybe you can say. But of course, there were people around him. There were party fanatics around him. And mind you, the matter at the court was a very politically charged matter. It was on the 4 vacant seats, which ruling or judgment could ultimately change the power dynamics in parliament. So it was a politically charged case in court, which meant that party people were there, and those guys usually don't have filters, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have limits. They can go any extent to satisfy whoever their paymaster is. So that is where maybe the threat, I would say, probably came from. But I was at the court. I thought I was doing my job.
You're doing your job.
And it was interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot more I'll say after the show. If somebody was, I should probably open a YouTube channel.
And talk about it. We could actually do that because we have colleagues here who've also been through Akosia, Ochre,
Akosia was like abuse, right?
Yes.
Physical abuse.
Physical abuse.
I won't say
from party fanatics.
I won't say I was physically abused.
No, you weren't. But it was threatening. I mean, from where I stood, it wasn't threat. It was harassment. But the threat comes from the people around him, like you said, right?
A cracker built me well.
But
the point really is, World Freedom Day, World
Press Freedom Day.
And it was interesting to see the minority leader. He wouldn't accept that tag at the time, but now,
now he accepts it full-chestedly.
But shout out to the GJ. We are being told that 25 persons were going to be honored, for their various contributions to press freedom in Ghana. I think the new GJ boss, he's brought some fire.
Yeah, and he's calling for, the swift action on investigation into Ahmed Swale's murder. Yeah. Yesterday, they held an event at Alisa Hotel. It was a day, and it was a World Press Freedom Day and Honors Night. And Edward Adeti was honored. 50,000 Ghana cedis, I believe, was what he got. So congratulations to him and all the other people who were awarded. And this year's theme is, let me see if I'll find the theme. Okay, I can't find it, but
we'll bring it to you.
We'll bring it to you later, maybe tomorrow when we get the full details of the story.
Did you see the kidnapping story?
I did.
For a nation that has not maybe fully recovered from the Takrady 3 girls matter, this sent some chills down the spines of quite a number of people who came across the story. So the police have arrested 8, and they've rescued a woman in a viral video on a kidnapping issue. Very brief excerpts of the story reads, the Ghana Police Service has confirmed the rescue of 2 kidnapped women whose harrowing ordeal was captured in a viral video recently. In a joint operation involving the National Signals Bureau and the Nigeria Police Force, 8 suspects were arrested from multiple locations in Ghana and Nigeria. The victims were safely rescued, bringing relief to their families and the general public. The Ghana Police Service assured the public that investigations are ongoing and promised to release more details soon. So kudos to the police for doing what they had to do, you know, and doing it quite efficiently. My point is that, so for some of these cases, you make an example of them, right? You go the full length of it, the full whole of the case, like the prosecutions, make it public. Every stage of the trial of these people to a point where a logical conclusion is reached and a court decision is made, so that if they are guilty and the investigations prove that they actually did what they did, let the law take its course, and to send a strong warning to somebody hiding somewhere who's also thinking of
doing a similar thing.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm on GhanaWeekend.com. Just before we go, Black Star Experience. I'll walk the runway at July's Fashion Week. That's according to President John Dramani Mahama. I remember when he mounted the stage, he was like, "Come back as a fast, you want me, but he realizes that still crying dada." So a bit of that story reads, President John Dramani Mahama has announced his participation in the upcoming Ghana Fashion Week scheduled for July 2025. During the launch of the Black Star Experience on May 1 at the Freedom and Justice Monument in Accra, he declared, "I will go into my wardrobe, change 3 times, and walk on the catwalk," highlighting his commitment to promoting Ghanaian fashion. The Black Star Experience is a flagship initiative aimed at rebranding Ghana as the cultural and creative heartbeat of Africa. And we'll bring you excerpts of the launch when we do what's happening in town. But it'll be interesting to see the president. Well, I think his first outfit should be his inauguration outfit. That was
He
perfect.
got a lot of positive reviews.
That was perfect. And all the symbolism in that outfit, perfect. That should be his first outfit that he should come out with. All right. So that's our segment for you. When we come back, we'll be doing what's happening. Don't go away.